Let me welcome Guillermo Fernandez de la Garza, Chief Executive Officer, the United States-Mexico Foundation of Science. Pretty broad experience on different boards. I think you're going to introduce yourself much better than myself, but I want anyhow to raise up the fact that he got awarded by the Academy of Science in France for his enthusiasm in fostering programs about scientific education for children in Mexico.
Absolutely.
So I think you're going to share with all of us your enthusiasm on this manufacturing topic as well.
Yes,
so
exactly.
Very
right.
high expectation.
Yes, well, thank you very much. My presentation is going to be grassroots up. I think, and different from Kathy that is looking from the top down, I think what I will be doing is looking more from the grassroots up. In my talk, well, I will focus a lot about Mexico, of course, but in the framework of cooperation, of international cooperation. And talking a little bit about my past, in 1973, I was designing the first Mexican manufacturing support center, was called the Instituto de Manufacturas Metalmecánicas. At that time I was working with the National Council of Science and Technology. And the key organization that helped us to organize this first Mexican Research Innovation Support Institute was PERA, the Production Engineering Research Association in the United Kingdom. Ever since, I have been involved in different aspects of manufacturing, and I'm very happy to be here. I want to thank the organizers for the invitation, and also my Mexican colleagues in the IMS team. I think they have done a wonderful job. And I'm very, very happy that, to see all this energy and goodwill to facilitate more international cooperation about manufacturing. I think the world needs productivity, jobs, and this is what manufacturing is all about. Now, I would like to emphasize, yes, don't worry, that in the case of what I am doing in the US-Mexico Foundation for Science now, we are also having manufacturing as a very important component of our work. We work with about 400 Mexican companies every year, locally in Mexico, and also bringing them to the United States, to Canada and Europe to facilitate partnerships with organizations from those other countries. So we are big, what you might call true believers in international cooperation. I would like to emphasize that in order to be able to really harness the potential of manufacturing, you need to share best practices, and particularly about innovation support systems. This is something that very often is not clearly understood. We speak about talent and innovation as key components of the manufacturing success. But how do you put all of this in place? And I think that, for instance, the worldwide innovation trends in manufacturing are challenging countries to tap these new opportunities, and also the open innovation environment at the global level opens impressive opportunities for less developed regions able to design adequate regional manufacturing support systems. But the manufacturing support systems are really essential. And I've been analyzing in great depth, for instance, the 21st century manufacturing, the report that was produced by the National Research Council, and Dr. Wessner, that is here with us, was a key player in that respect. And it's quite clear that it's not just about the companies, it's also about the organizations that support the companies. And that's why it's so important, the Fraunhofer Institutes, the Carnot program, the new Catapult program, the IRAP program in Canada, the MEP program in the United States. We need to understand those elements as well, because it's not just a matter of how effective one company is, it's how effective the regional ecosystem, the local support system is in order to become really effective in introducing productivity measures and gaining in innovation. Education is key. And as you mentioned, the French Academy gave me a reward because my efforts in science education for children. And this is all over the world. I am a member of a committee that is pursuing this all over the world. And we think that in order to have the skills, the thinking skills, the cognitive skills that you need for innovation, you need improved educational processes. And I think I'm very happy that one of my colleagues in the education session will speak much more about this, that is now taking a big, let's say, a big impulse in Mexico. Let me come back to something that Kathy said that I think is very important for what I want to say. The present conditions favor a rapid expansion of manufacturing in North America. This is the redesign of production and innovation chains looking for better quality and increased intellectual protection. The rapid increase in China's salaries, the increase in transportation costs from Asia to North America, the competitive salaries for manufacturing in the United States, and the big amount of money that is supposedly going to be related with the reshore that Katie also mentioned. In Mexico, something that I find every time more and more interesting visiting manufacturing plants in Mexico is the recognition that many of the best manufacturing plants in the world are located in Mexico. And I was yesterday talking with my friend Dane Walters from the DMDI, and he was saying that he was impressed with the capabilities of the General Dynamics plant in Mexicali. And something that is happening very often, now the manufacturing plant managers of Mexican plants are becoming division heads in many companies. There is now also an increased manufacturing technology development made in Mexico. If you see, for instance, why Skyworks, that is manufacturing 6.5 million chips per day in Mexicali, is going to double its capacity next year. They have found that it's very economic, it's very feasible to do technology development for new manufacturing processes in Mexico. And there are new Mexican programs for technical and education support capabilities to ensure this fast incorporation of new manufacturing productivity improvement and technologies. So there is a generalized interest in improving the local conditions and support for manufacturing. What do we find that are the needs of the manufacturing companies operating in Mexico to improve their productivity? They need to continuously adjust to changing products and improve manufacturing processes, as well as to incorporate better monitoring and control systems. The application of advanced predictive maintenance, real-time statistical control, including the logistics operations related to manufacturing. There is a growing market for sophisticated informatics support systems for manufacturing processes, and new companies are coming in and others are being developed in the region for this purpose. There is a growth of the engineering, design, and informatics support groups in the companies that are operating in Mexico. And you remember we have thousands of manufacturing companies. An increased demand of local support companies and organizations. There is the fastest growing plants have convinced also their headquarters of the high returns of developing local engineering and design groups, emphasizing design for manufacturability and moving from engineering changes in the products to the full design. And the development of local suppliers is a key objective of many plants to reduce logistics costs and to have better opportunities to work jointly in improvements and innovations. What we discussed already, Mexico has low transportation costs, low growth of manufacturing salaries, technical and support infrastructure that facilitates rapid advances in flexible and rapid response manufacturing systems. And this is something that I would like to emphasize a little bit, rapid response manufacturing. We are finding a big trend now to develop infrastructure to ensure rapid response manufacturing. And that starts from the idea of a product to the product in the market. And this is one of the big trends that we are seeing, particularly in the US-Mexico border region. Working together, the US companies and the Mexican companies, to come up with a good idea, to set up the prototype, to start testing, to do the testing, not just of the product, but of the market, and then to move very quickly to manufacturing in order to really get in with strength in the market. We have a very highly competitive workforce for manufacturing and assembly based on a large and innovative educational infrastructure that, as I was mentioning, is improving. And this is one of the big reforms of President Enrique Peña in Mexico. Mexico is going towards a big change in many of the economic development policies. One of the policies that is influencing very much economic development is improvements in education. And all of this is embedded in something that, for my organization, the US-Mexico Foundation for Science, is very important, is the new environment for US-Mexico cooperation. The visits of President Obama to Mexico, the interaction with President Peña, the so-called new high-level economic dialogue, that is sort of the new version of the North American Free Trade Agreement, is focusing a lot more on cooperation for productivity, cooperation for improved economic development. And this is opening, of course, a very, very good opportunity for improved cooperation between the United States and Mexico around subjects like manufacturing. And there are several initiatives in Mexico now that I think will be very important to facilitate cooperation, US-Mexico, of course, but also cooperation with Europe and with Asia and with other countries to accelerate the growth of manufacturing. One of them is an integral manufacturing support strategy. This is something that is becoming more and more clear. We cannot have a very fragmented set of instruments to improve manufacturing. There is a need for a comprehensive national strategy for manufacturing support. This should include, of course, conditions for supplier development and for manufacturing processes innovations. The use of best global practices for regional manufacturing innovation support systems. As I was mentioning in the beginning, it's not just a matter of working with the companies or working with the research organizations. You need also these articulators, the organizations that bring together the needs of the companies with the capabilities of the support system. And accelerate infrastructure for transportation and logistics. There is a huge effort at this moment in Mexico to invest in improved bridges, improved roads, improved railways, improved ports. And I think all of this will make a tremendous change in the competitiveness of Mexico in manufacturing. Improve urban planning, accelerate development of industrial parks. Again, this is something that in the past has been done, but not as effectively as it should be. And I think this is going to be much better managed in the next few years in Mexico. There has to be some adequation of taxation reforms, and of course, there is a tremendous effort at this moment in Mexico to improve security and to improve the international perception of security in Mexico. Well, this is all what I wanted to say. I think it's a little bit before the end of my time.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
So we might have more time for questions. Thank you.
Thank you. I was just